Bundy confessed to murdering at least 30 women, and 30 years ago this month, the state of Florida executed him for those crimes.
In an exclusive interview, CBS 17's Zak Dahlheimer sat down with a man who traveled from the Triangle to the Florida Panhandle for a one-on-one encounter with one of America's most notorious serial killers.
He's the creepiest guy I ever met.
I'll plead not guilty right now.
One of the worst stories I ever had to cover in my life.
Mark Pinsky has lived on the front lines covering capital murder and racial injustice cases. In the 1970s, he called the Triangle home, working as a freelance writer.
And I saw journalism as a way to make social change.
And one day in 1978, he received a call for an assignment in Tallahassee, Florida.
Because I specialized in the death penalty, an attorney I'd worked with before in a North Carolina case called me and said, "Would you like to interview Ted Bundy?" And I said, "Well, okay." He was incommunicado as far as the press was concerned, and this was to be his first face-to-face interview since his arrest.
Known for his good looks, charm, and confidence, Bundy had just been captured, accused of killing 2 co-eds at Florida State University, and suspected of raping, abducting, and killing other women across the Pacific Northwest.
It was a big national story. I was just getting started as a freelance writer, and I thought it was an opportunity I couldn't pass up.
Pinsky recalls the moment he walked into the jail cell, locking eyes with Bundy.
He was sitting at a table or a desk inside his cell. Playing on the radio was classical music from the local public radio station. Very restrained. He had a kind of a faint smile when I walked in. I noticed behind him what looked like a professional-looking rope, which one does not expect to see in a high-security jail cell. And I asked him about it. He said, "Oh yes." He said, I tore up my sheets and I wove this rope, and I use it for jumping rope to stay in physical shape. He wasn't at all demonic. I think he knew his job at that interview was to charm me and to put me at ease.
In his article titled "Just an Excitable Boy," Pinsky wrote about his conversation with Bundy. Is the same person in the newspaper accounts the same person I'm talking to? I've been desensitized. I feel pegged to the wall like a butterfly, and sometimes I feel like composing a silent response to all this stuff. What about the speculation that you had an unhappy childhood? That's completely false. Do you ever expect to get out of jail and walk around free? I don't think about it much anymore. It's not as though I don't think I'll ever be free again. It's not a hope I cling to. Did you kill any of these women? Any of these women? That's the question. No, I didn't. I didn't kill anyone, so I don't have any difficulty answering the question.
He was all of the things that I thought a murderer wouldn't be. He was just like me, and that was very disconcerting to me. Half of me knew that he was this monster. He had done this stuff. And half of me had just had this experience of sitting with a very normal-seeming person, demographically, much like myself.
Pinsky joined reporters from around the world at Bundy's Miami trial in 1979.
My name's Ted Bundy.
He relished the spotlight. He sort of strode and stalked the courtroom, cross-examining people, just loving the attention and the limelight that he knew he was getting in that case.
A jury eventually found Bundy guilty of killing the 2 FSU co-eds, and in a separate trial, his final victim, 12-year-old Kimberly Leach. In January 1989, Bundy was executed in Florida's electric chair. Outside the Florida State Prison, people celebrated. Since then, Bundy's been the subject of books, movies, and documentaries.
He was charming.
Including the Netflix series, Conversations with a Killer, the Ted Bundy tapes.
It's morbid curiosity. It's that dissonance. I keep coming back to that. It's that dissonance of someone who looks so normal or better than normal doing this monstrous thing. It's hard to get your head around it.
Now Pinsky looks back on the interview and Bundy's parting words he wrote on Pinsky's notepad. "Dear Mark, thank you for allowing me this interview. Theodore Robert Bundy."
I think he was a charming sociopath, good at what he did.
Zak Dahlheimer, CBS 17 News.